Shall we discuss some nerdy news, Mr. Zontal?
Yes, we have quite a bit of nerdy news
We
this
do.
week.
We do have quite a bit. So let's start with something that I've been debated by before.
And potentially have
Skybound
again.
is developing a triple A Invincible game
Oh,
with
not
a
quadruple A.
fundraising campaign going alongside it. So it must have been just over a year ago now that they announced that an Invincible game was coming. And I started bouncing off the ceiling and the walls with excitement. And then we got baited because it was a mobile turn-based game. And I was
Yeah,
very sad.
yeah.
They've specified it's a AAA game this time.
Triple A mobile.
Again, I'm going to manage my expectations because, as we said, it's a fundraising campaign, which means this game is going to have a cycle to it.
Yeah.
There is a very limited world in which I don't at least buy this game just to support Skybound, and hopefully there's a good game that comes out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love superheroes. I love video games. Like it's one of them bits where you're like, even if this is really bad, it could still be like an all-time classic in the shit games that we love category.
Yeah.
And
And
if it's really good, it could bring back to life the superhero video game,
it
which a
could.
lot of people are trying to do at the minute.
I will say, with it having like a fundraising campaign alongside that obviously public can put into, it almost holds them an accountability of not doing any shitty practices that we see video game studios like to try and
Yeah.
do nowadays. Because everyone who has backed that will kick up a fuss,
Yeah.
and then that just means bad publicity for a game that probably is going to be like, yes, it might be AAA, but essentially this is an indie style release of doing a game.
In reality, we worked out at the end of season 2 of Invincible that based on the speed they're adapting comics to shows, that we've probably got 8 or 9 seasons.
Yeah.
If this game comes out at the end of season 9, which I know is miles away, but say we get all 9 seasons and this game comes out at the end of it, that gives them 7 years to make it.
Yeah.
I'll wait 7 years if it's worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. People like time to make a game doesn't matter as long as the game is good on release.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of seasons, Invincible has reportedly been renewed for seasons 4 and 5. This information was put on the Skybound website,
On the
like with all their
fundraising
metrics
thing.
for the year.
Yeah.
This information has since been removed, so they might have leaked that when they didn't mean to,
Yeah.
or it might not actually be true, and they think it's going to happen any day now, but they haven't officially had it greenlit yet, so they can't advertise it yet.
I wonder if it's in the process of being greenlit.
I mean, it's a
And
done deal.
they
Let's be
thought
honest.
things would be signed and done by the time of this announcement, and it wasn't, and it got forgotten to be taken off. Like, it was put on there because they thought it'd already be organized and done, but then maybe it's stuck in some like legal thing at the moment.
Hot take
Go on.
that kind of goes along with what we said. Prime Video right now. Is it one of the most trustworthy streaming platforms? In the sense of, if they do something good, you can be confident that it's not going to get thrown to the side like Netflix have famously done.
I would say so. They've had the most hits.
Because think about it, The
Recently.
Boys
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. Now we're getting ready to go on season 4 and it's had a spin-off.
Yeah.
Invincible, again, indie, pretty small. We've now got season 3 guaranteed with strong indications we're getting at least seasons 4 and season 5.
Yeah.
The Reacher show.
Yeah.
Phenomenal success. Fallout now, although it hasn't officially been greenlit yet, I am confident based on their track history that it will get greenlit. Whereas when Netflix releases something good, I'm sat there on tenterhooks going, are they going to release another season? Or are they just going to pretend they never released the first one and release another period piece smut book adaptation. Fucking Bridgerton.
No, I think I
like-
think that's a fair assessment.
I have my feelings about Jeff Bezos, billionaires, and Amazon specifically. But
Mm.
Prime Video right now might be, as a consumer who cares about the shows they like not getting canned, they might be the most trustworthy.
I feel like Amazon as a streaming for Prime Video, Netflix got to a point where they wanted to be hands on with everything. Like it got to a point that like they'll buy your idea and then they're hands on. They want too much control. Whereas the vibe I get from Prime Video is, I mean, look at Critical Role's animated thing is also on Prime.
Yeah.
They see a great idea for a show that obviously every streaming site probably is like, this is a great show. Prime goes, here's your budget, make it for us. You can decide the release style. You can decide, like, we don't care. We'll host it. We get revenue from it. Here's your budget. Boom.
And do you know what I think this is? Netflix are like, we're going to do original stuff.
Mm.
And a lot of it ends up being meh or having quite a small but loyal fan base.
Mm-hmm.
What Prime are doing is, there's good stories over there. Adapt
We'll back
them
it
for us.
Prime's doing like the old school like publisher thing of, we just give you the money, you make the film, we back it.
Oh,
Netflix
these
wants
Jack
to
Reacher
be
books are massively successful. Go adapt them.
Yeah.
Oh, that independent comic book that never really got a chance but is widely acclaimed as really good. Adapt it. That shit comic book that's quite edgy and we can use to poke fun at stuff. Adapt it.
Yeah, and then it's like Netflix is just like, no, we want to be the publisher and the producer at the same time and want full.
Inherently a bad thing.
No, they've kind of gone too.
thing.
Yeah, they've gone like full creative control on everything that they put out, and it's like sometimes you've got to be hands off and just like, if there's a good idea, just let the good idea run.
Exactly. In yet another step towards streaming services just becoming TV, Disney Plus will be adding channels that play franchises or genres on a constant schedule, like a Star Wars channel or a Marvel channel, reports the information. What are we doing, folks?
I mean, so I'm not
and satellite TV. Now we've just got internet TV.
I'm not against this. Like, I think certain things work for this if it's Disney. Let's be honest. Disney Plus is probably used by a lot of parents to put stuff on for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You could very easily have a like Disney Kids one, which just shows like kid-friendly Disney films on like a cycle or shows or whatever they've got, and you can just put it on for your kid. Also, you could have a Disney animated, and you just have like the Star Wars animated stuff, the Marvel animated stuff on like a daily, and you can tune it in at any point.
I do get your point. Do you want to know what my actual issue is?
Go on.
There are upkeep costs with having a stream available 24/7 to God knows however many people, and that needs to be scalable. If no one's watching it, it doesn't need to have as much bandwidth. But if all of a sudden 100,000 people click on it, you need to be able to service all of them instantly. Yeah?
Mm.
Which means they'll need to upgrade their infrastructure to be able to house it and not affect just regular streaming. Or they need to leave it how it is and it will affect regular streaming. Which means streaming might be affected by it, or they're going to have to charge us even more money to be able to support this when no one wants it. Have you ever met a single person that's gone, oh, I really like Netflix, or I really like Prime Video, or I really like Disney Plus, but I just wish I could put it on and it would just play whatever crap?
The only situation I've heard people will be happy about or something like this was actually with Crunchyroll for anime. Crunchyroll has one it's coming out very soon, where you'll be able to just tune in and watch, and it'll just be like an anime channel. But that's because there's so many animes. Sometimes you need something like that to discover an anime, if that makes sense.
It's just, I just don't think it makes sense. I don't think a Star Wars channel or a Marvel channel is going to get usage.
I'm okay if it's a separate tier that you get charged for. So for the cost of it, if they're like, oh, you want Disney Plus Live, and they charge it as a separate thing, like you have normal subscription plus Live for the people that then want those.
Yeah, I think they're more likely to just give everyone it, and then in a year after it's gone live, just go, oh, because we're giving you this new thing that you all love, we're now charging you more money, and that's the way the business works. And that's what's concerning me about it. I don't think it's needed, wanted, anything.
We'll see.
Like, when was the last time you sat down to watch TV and you just put on a random fucking channel to see what happened?
Never anymore.
Exactly. Because you either know what you want to watch, and I'm sure you're like me, if you don't know what you want to watch, you'll have a show that you're binging that you've seen a million times just to be background noise, or you will let YouTube autoplay.
Well, yeah, this thing. If I don't know what my going to TV and putting something random on is me going to the YouTube homepage and seeing what's recommended to me.
Exactly. And I get that, yes, we are younger, but guess what? We're the people who killed TV. Stop trying to sell us TV. We already took it out back with a shotgun. Don't try and bring it back. Adapt or die. Like, I just, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. No one, not even the person who managed to sell Bob Iger on this shit idea, could convince me that this is anything other than shit. Transformers 1 trailer's been released.
It has. I'm going to say, not what I expected, but not necessarily disappointed in what I saw.
We're very, very similar here. I am a touch disappointed.
Okay.
After the hype around it that we saw from CinemaCon, where they got a little look at it, I was expecting an animation style more befitting to what we've come used to with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Verse, X-Men 97.
We hadn't been told it was like that. We just read animation, presumed with the hype that has been with Spider-Verse and that style, that, oh, of course they'll do that because that's the current trend of visual, and we're excited for that. I will say, although it's not what I expected in the animation style, and while personally I might have enjoyed a bit more like that and a bit of a more adult like direction of story and vibe, this looks fun. It looks, the easiest way I can describe it, it looks like Transformers crossed with like Lego movie vibe.
Yes. Do you want to know one thing that really didn't sit right about the visual of it?
Go on.
Everything seemed a bit too smooth and round. Like, when I think of Transformers, I'm thinking of a mech, and it's Optimus Prime with his big chest, and it's straight lines and sharp-looking edges. And instead, it's just, everything's just been curved and softened out a little bit. And I just like, it doesn't.
Do you know what this is?
Imposing.
Unfortunately, this film isn't for our generation.
But I'm the person who's going to buy the ticket, Hori.
Yeah, but no, I think this. Unfortunately, we want, like, because we've grew up with the Transformers films. It's been ages since we've had like a Transformers animated show. With X-Men 97 and our love for animation, we want those shows kind of, or those franchises, to go back to animation a bit, have a bit of an adult sort of direction with the story, and we get this cool visual style that we're loving. Unfortunately, I can tell you right now, this has the thing. If you think like our childhood TV shows, right? Fireman Sam, Bob the Builder, Postman Pat, if you watch them now, they look so weird because they're in 3D animation, no longer like stop motion, what we remember. This has that same vibe of, they've gone with that modern kids visual for an animated show.
Yeah, it's just like, look at this picture I'm sending you now. Yeah. So this is what the way they're putting the Transformers looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not saying is bad. But then when you just Google Optimus Prime, I'm just sending you a picture of one of the toys that was made from like old school Optimus Prime design. It's just a lot, and it might not necessarily be a good thing or a bad thing. It's thrown me off because of how much boxier
Yeah,
they
do
used to
you know what it
and it
is?
just feels weird.
We, unfortunately, this is a Transformers to start for a new generation, which is the disappointing thing. Actually, is we wanted this to be an animated show for us still. Unfortunately, they're doing that thing where they visually redesign slightly, like our kids' shows when they became 3D animation. Everything became like smoother and strangely like rounder and like didn't look right. It's the same here. They're gonna do new toys that all look like this, that are no longer boxy. And it's gonna be like a sleek, futuristic look.
I don't know, maybe I'm finally old.
Yeah, I think unfortunately this trailer made me realize I was like, what I had in my head of what I wanted from a Transformers like lent towards all the anime I've been watching with mechs, and then I was like, oh wait, this is a film for kids. This isn't
How
for
old's your
me.
nephew? Show
4.
it to him. If he goes, "Oh my god, robots, that's awesome," we're officially old.
Oh, he probably will.
If he looks at it and goes, "Why does Optimus Prime look so skinny? Get that bitch in the gym."
He
He's
won't. He doesn't even know who Optimus Prime is.
Oh!
I
What
think
do
the
kids even watch now? Is it all just Skibbity Toilet?
no, they like Bluey, which to be fair,
Bluey's based. Yeah, no, that's fine. Is Dora still popping? I don't know.
Peppa Pig's still popping.
Is Peppa Pig still cutting her out?
Yeah, my nephew's like
What a goat.
wants to watch Peppa Pig. There's other like random
But don't get me
shows.
wrong, the film looks good, the story looks good, it's an interesting take. I am just in myself a little bit disappointed with the visuals. I don't think it looks bad, but it wasn't the style I was hoping for.
Yeah, I think it looks like a fun film that has Lego Movie vibe. It's a visual style that is not what I was hoping for, and maybe that's because I'm biased, like I said, from all the like Gundam and stuff I've been watching of what I was like would love. But it doesn't mean it'll be a bad film. I'm sure it might do well.
We'll probably end up giving it a chance and see what we think.
Essentially, yeah.
Now I know this is a little bit out there, but it posed an interesting question to me in my monologue.
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino, who famously said he's only got one more film he's going to make, The Movie Critic, has now decided that he won't make The Movie Critic, and his last film will be something else. Is this a bad idea? Is he going to spend so long searching for the perfect final story to tell that he never tells one? Now, he is quite young, so this isn't as big a concern as if it was like a Martin Scorsese going, there's one more film I want to make, and then just going, no, it's something else. But Tarantino's always said he's going to make 10 films, whatever the fuck it is. And after Hollywood, I forget what the fucking title was called. He said, I've got one more that I'm going to make. It's going to be called The Movie Critic. And then he went to work. Now he's just ditched this out of nowhere. He's gone, no, that wasn't right. I'm starting fresh. Do you think it becomes kind of a very artistic thing? And I think like we're not Quentin Tarantino, obviously. We're both quite creative people, so we've been there where you want to do something like to finish something off, and then you just keep on tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it, and then you're like, no, I've ruined it. I throw it away and I start again. And as a result, you never actually finish.
Yes, he might get stuck trying to find this perfect final one. As a career person, I'm totally on board of just no matter how far along you are, if it suddenly just doesn't feel right anymore, it's just been it. Like it's fine. Just move on. There's yes, to a certain degree, you should always try and just finish and then move on. But I mean, if he's got so far into this and he's just like, this story isn't actually like the visual, that the initial seed of an idea hasn't actually turned into what I would hope for a film, and it's not hitting. There's no point in him trying to force it, and then he doesn't enjoy his last film.
I think I'm just double checking this right now. I think this is now already, since he started making films, the longest we've gone without a film he's directed. And I think that kind of lends to that idea of, like in search of perfection, you're never going to find the finish line. And I do just wonder if there will be a case of, he's like, no, it has to be perfect. It has to say the right thing. And he doesn't realize that actually this thing he's decided isn't good enough is still his best work. I could see the final Tarantino film ending up being a film someone else has made about his last 30 years of life in search of the perfect film.
I mean, I could definitely see this getting to a situation where he's just like, and I think actually maybe he needs to do this, which is like actually go, you know what? I can't decide on a 10 film. Maybe I'll never make the 10th film. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna try and come up with it anymore. I'm done. And probably him stopping and not and just moving away from the idea of it will then probably suddenly you'll just get like 5, 10 years down the line. He goes, oh yeah, by the way, I'm releasing a 10th film. I had this idea. It came to me out of nowhere. Surprise.
And again, maybe this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I think if you are genuinely an artist who loves the art, putting such a limit on yourself feels a little bit egotistical. I think Tarantino going, no, this is going to be my last one and then I'm done. I think that is less respectful to the art and more making it about him than if he does what so many people have done and he keeps making films until they're shit and no one wants to watch them. Because that's then like the passion for the filmmaking. I want to tell stories. I want to do things. I want to do that. I want to do the other. Whereas it feels like he wants to be the guy who goes out at the peak of his game. And I think that's more about him as a person than telling stories. Like, put it this way. Right now, we have not that many subscribers. We don't get that many views. We just do this for the passion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Over the next 2 years, this explodes.
Yep.
Yeah, we're doing really well. We get to episode, I don't know, 300, say.
Yeah.
And we're like at the peak of our game. We're still enjoying it, but because we're at the top, we want to just put it down and go, right, we're off, bye. Even though we're still loving it and don't want to stop doing it, but we want to leave at the top. Or would we? As of right now, obviously life changes. As of right now, I'd be like, no, I'm going to ride this jet into the fucking ground because I love doing this. I don't care if by the end of our arc we're doing worse than we were at the fucking beginning. I love doing this. I'm not going to stop. And I think I'd have more respect for Tarantino if he was kind of at the case of, I've decided that the movie critic isn't good enough to be my last film, but I still want to tell the story, so I'm going to tell it, and then we'll work on whatever my next one is. I think, do you know what it is? You know the quote from The Office, which is, I wish you knew you were in the good old days while you were in them. Yeah, it's a beautiful quote, but it's actually shit because then you don't appreciate it because you just sat there going, oh, this is great. The entire time he's making this last film, knowing it's his last film, he's just going to be going around screaming at actors, going, this is the last film they're going to fucking make. I need you to give it your soul. I need you to bleed for this film. Instead of just make the fucking film and see what happens.
It's tough because it's like the creator in me understands the whole. Sometimes, like the idea, like you try and do an idea and it just doesn't work, and then it's like I think he's definitely more artist than director in him or filmmaker. That is just like I want to do a set body of work, and that is my. He's viewing it as like 10 films. It's a body of work. It's a collection. It seems like a good. And I think maybe he needs to change it. Or maybe he needs to change his perspective to be like, yeah, you can end on 10 as being like writer, director, producer, but then maybe you just dabble in the film industry afterwards, whether you like help produce something or you help do like.
My big issue isn't him going, this isn't the right one. Because don't get me wrong,
I
maybe
get
he's
that.
worked on this and gone, the story isn't there, that's fine. I am more concerned that he's been working on this one for so long, and now he's
Yeah,
and when talking about it, he's been very clear. I decided this can't be my last one, so I'm getting rid of it. Because that's how it's phrased. It's not, this isn't the right one, my last one's going to be something else. It's, this one can't be my last one, so I'm on to a different idea. Which makes it more sound of he thinks there's still a story there to be told, but it's not worthy of being his last film.
yeah, but
And
that's just
that's
an
my bigger
artist.
concern.
Yeah, but that's just an
Um,
artist being an artist.
I'd rather him go the Scorsese route, which is just, I'm going to keep on working on films till I fucking die. And I don't care. I want to make as many films as possible. Because that is just, that's Scorsese just loving cinema, man. He's just like, I want to make films. I want to keep making films. I'm going to die in a director's chair. I don't care. I want to make films. What's the gentleman who's the Megapolis director who spent like years
I don't know.
financing the film? Francis Ford Coppola. Like, when was the last film he made before this? It was fucking years ago now. Yeah, sorry, the Godfather director. I'm going to get shot by someone. He's not made a film since 2010. Yeah, because he spent the last 15 years building up a very successful wine business so that he could use the money from that to fund this film that no one wanted to fund for him. Like, that's
It's
passion, man. I love it. I love art. Artists never stop being artists, for the love of God.
I still have their own perspective. I think Quentin's just comes from less about an artist of filmmaking, just like his medium for art is film. It's less
Yeah, no,
about
I
the
get that.
craft of a film, and it's like he just wants to do a set body of work. And I think him going, this doesn't fit with his vision of what he wants. That's, yeah, I get it. Ditch it, move on, find the next one, follow the next idea, see where that goes. Maybe you'll get stuck here forever. Maybe you won't.
That would be the most artistic thing that he could do at this point, in my opinion. For the next 30 years or however long he lives, just going, "Ah, it's not right, it's not right, it's not right, it's not right." And like it being that, oh, Tarantino never released his final film. And like that's how the documentary on his life ends. I don't know. A24 has had its best ever opening weekend and its first ever #1 in the domestic box office
Ah, didn't know
with
they'd hit that.
Civil War, filmed by Alex Garland, that's piquing a lot of interest. I haven't been to see it. I'm really tempted. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find time with the move and stuff. Is the only thing, but it's basically like alternate timeline America, where
Yeah,
essentially, in the most unrealistic thing possible,
unrealistic.
Texas and California have teamed up
I mean,
against America.
people say that's unrealistic. I don't actually think it's that unrealistic.
I mean, yeah, the reason it seems unrealistic is it's like the most democratic state versus the most Republican state. So the whole idea is, how the fuck would they ever agree on things? But Alex Garland's point is, no, this is the point. What the other regime is doing is so despicable in their eyes that they can put aside their feelings on gay rights and guns and
Hmm.
abortion and religion and things like that, because they can both just sit down and go, okay, we need to deal with that. We'll talk about this later. We need to deal with that.
It
Um,
it did look, and then when I saw the trailers and stuff, I have been intrigued and wanted to see this. So the fact that it's doing well makes me want to go watch this even more. And it's
it's
A24.
also, yeah, it's nice to see A24 is getting more domestic and box office success,
Hmm.
because hopefully that means they'll be able to finance more things. I'm sure they've had plenty of things they wanted to do that they couldn't find the capital for. By having more and more success and then becoming a more recognizable producer, that
Mm-hmm.
people are like, A24, it's worth a shot.
Yep.
I mean, The Rock announced he's doing a project of A24, and instantly everyone went, wait, is The Rock going to try doing real acting? They didn't go, oh, is A24 doing a dumb action film? They went, is The Rock going to do some proper, like, heartfelt acting? That's the brand A24 has built for itself.
Oh yeah, it's building a great brand in the film industry.
It's always nice to see, especially with the state of cinema at the minute, someone like A24 doing better and better.
Also, I was down to watch Americans Implode.
Yeah. At CinemaCon, so this was last Thursday evening. It happened as we were recording, and then we saw, all this stuff happened literally as we hit stop recording.
As always.
At CinemaCon, the new Thunderbolts logo was revealed, and it included an asterisk, which Kevin Feige claimed they won't be talking about until after the film's release. What? What do you mean? Do you know what annoys me more? The fact that he drew attention to it and then, but we're not going to talk about it.
Do you know what my guess is? We know we got also a teaser for the new Captain America New World Order, or whatever it's renamed to. And in that teaser, apparently it's him being told to just do what Captain America should do. Basically, like, stop fucking about, do it how we think Captain America should be. And he's like, no. What if, from who we know is in Thunderbolts, it's very, like, government-selected heroes. What if the Thunderbolts asterisk is because they're trying to make them be the new Avengers?
Oh, I think that's exactly what it is.
And it's gonna be Thunderbolts asterisk because that's like the plan name for Avengers 2.
It's gonna be like I don't want to get I'm supposed to be the comic guy here. I don't want to get shouted out again. So I think it's actually going to end up being Secret Avengers.
Okay.
Because the Secret Avengers are essentially a Black Ops government unit.
There you go then.
So I think they're going to take the Thunderbolts, which was kind of a little bit less superhero-y, but the same idea. And because Ross wants them to be an Avengers team, they're actually going to end up calling themselves the Avengers at the end of that.
But secretly.
Yeah. I think we're definitely on the right lines with the whole idea is it's Thunderbolts, but they actually in reality want everyone to start thinking, okay, why are they not really the Thunderbolts? I've got to be honest. I think it's most likely that it's just going to be the team actually goes by a different name. I would really like it if this entire film was a fucking bait and switch for like a massively important film like Avengers 5 or some shit. And like they get all these people on set, none of it really matters. They put a mock trailer together for this Thunderbolts film, and then we sit down and we just get like Guardians, Avengers, X-Men, just like a big on fucking ensemble. And then we just sat there for 3 hours going, this was the fucking Thunderbolts.
What if it's like it says Thunderbolts and then the asterisk on the title card, as they do like the little setup, and then they do the title, and then right at the bottom in small text it just says, "This is actually Avengers 5, but we didn't want to tell anyone." And people only at the start of the film like, "Wait, what did that just say at the bottom?"
Because, like, here's the thing: once people are in the cinema, you can drop the illusion of that title straight away.
Yeah.
You can literally have in like not even that small writing along the bottom, just in an asterisk, Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that.
This is true.
Don't get me wrong. If it goes wrong, it's seen as a marketing and PR nightmare. And I don't think that is what it's going to be. They're just playing around with the concept of maybe this isn't actually the Thunderbolts team. Maybe it's the new Avengers team. Maybe it's the Secret Avengers. Maybe it's the Dark Avengers, whatever. But I think it would be really funny if it ends up being a completely different film.
Yeah, it would be.
But in less mind melting news and more, I would say, really good news, Kevin also said that Marvel movies deserve the big screen treatment. They deserve to be seen in cinema. They deserve to be an event.
Yep.
And in an effort to make that step in the right direction, they're going to be filming on IMAX going forward, most notably with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Yes.
I think this is really good news. We've been not as negative as a lot of people, but we have noted some of the failings of the MCU in more recent times. I think them, instead of worrying about pumping out 4 films a year, which we know they're making an effort to avoid doing, they are going, no, let's tell stories. Let's make it impactful and meaningful, like they did, I think, with the Marvels. And like they were trying to do with a lot of stuff, they just missed the mark. I think they're now going all in on that idea of like 2 films a year, maybe 3 on a really big year. All made really high quality. It's ready when it's ready.
Yeah.
And IMAX is just, it helps. Even if like a lot of people don't go see it in IMAX, it helps sell that idea that we're really trying to care about what we're doing. And it's not a cheap investment. IMAX cameras aren't cheap.
No, but
like,
I
that's
think
a substantial investment.
It's also like their way of trying to incentivize people to go to the cinema more to watch it, because let's be honest, when look at Oppenheimer, it got huge talk about going to watch it in IMAX. Like, it was made for IMAX. You should go watch it in IMAX. It is a cinema experience to go to IMAX for. They're obviously trying to capitalize on like that public reception to when something is on IMAX, to get people to come back and watch the films in the cinema.
And I almost think that's what cinema needs. It needs to go to this idea of, no, you don't go to the cinema to see any old shit. It's an experience. You go to the cinema to see a thing. You go get your snack of choice. If it's not popcorn, you're a bit weird. You get your drink of choice. You sit down in the IMAX screen, which is bigger. It's got more impressive sound system that always leaves me with a little bit of a headache, but a nice kind of headache. And you get ready to just be like absorbed by what you're watching. And I also think, while IMAX makes a good film great, it also makes a bad film really poor. Because if you can't use the IMAX and everything that you like unlock with that to trap someone in the story, it becomes very obvious you're not in the story, and then people are going to go, what the fuck was that? Like Dune Part 2 is an IMAX film. Will that film still be good when you're just watching at home without surround speakers? Yes, of course it will. It's a brilliantly put together film. But when I'm in the cinema watching that in IMAX, I forget there's people next to me. I'm on Arrakis watching this fucking happen. I don't know there's people around me. And that is why IMAX is so important. And it's quite exciting that Marvel want to get into that. And bear in mind how excited we are for like the artistic appeal of Fantastic Four and what we've seen so far.
Yes.
With like this potential alternate timeline that's a bit neo-futuristic or retro-futuristic rather. In IMAX could just be so good.
Get Fantastic Four and some anamorphic film lenses on IMAX to fit the vibe of the era.
It's so exciting.